On the night of August 31st, 1997, Princess Diana died in a crash that shocked the world. Yet the real question remains, was it a tragic accident, or was there something darker at play? Was the paparazzi's chase the real cause, or could the royal family have been involved in a far more sinister plot? And how does her secretive relationship with Dodi Fayed fit into all of this? The official investigations pointed to reckless driving and impaired judgment, but for years, conspiracy theories about her death have raged on. In this deep dive, we'll break down the timeline of that fateful night, explore the theories, and uncover what most likely happened. Princess Diana's life began in relative obscurity compared to the grandeur she would later experience. Born on July 1, 1961 in Norfolk, England, Diana Frances Spencer came from an aristocratic family with deep royal connections. Despite her family's status, Diana's childhood was marked by instability, particularly due to her parents' divorce, an event that would impact her personal life profoundly. She attended several schools, including the West Heath School in Kent, where she developed an interest in music and dance. Diana's life would change dramatically in 1981 when she married Prince Charles, the eldest son of Queen Elizabeth II. The wedding was a global spectacle, watched by millions. Diana, at just 20 years old, became the Princess of Wales, stepping into a world of privilege, but also immense scrutiny. Their union, however, quickly became turbulent. The pressures of royal life, the intrusion of the media, and Charles's ongoing relationship with Camilla Parker Bowles led to a deteriorating marriage, marked by public heartache and personal betrayals. Diana and Charles separated in 1992, and their divorce was finalized in 1996. Despite this, Diana remained active in the public eye, dedicating herself to charity work. She focused particularly on AIDS awareness and the campaign to ban landmines, causes she was deeply passionate about. She also continued to be a devoted mother to her sons, Prince William and Prince Harry, whom she raised with love and care, often defying royal protocols to give them as normal a childhood as possible. In the years following her divorce, Diana became involved with several men, but the most significant relationship in her final years was with Dodi Fayed, the son of Egyptian billionaire Mohammed Al Fayed. Dodi and Diana were seen together frequently in the summer of 1997, and their relationship became the subject of intense media attention. On the night of August 31st, 1997, Diana and Dodi were in Paris planning to stay at the Ritz Hotel. But because of intrusive paparazzis, in particular Jacques Langevin, who was at the Ritz Hotel, they decided to return to Dodi's private apartment near the Arc de Triomphe for more privacy. At around 12:23 a.m., the car crashed into a pillar in the Pont de l'Alma tunnel. Diana suffered fatal injuries and was rushed to the hospital, but she was pronounced dead shortly after. Dodi Fayed and Henri Paul also died in the crash. The aftermath was a media frenzy, and the public mourning for Diana was unprecedented. Foul play, a royal conspiracy? One of the most prominent theories surrounding Princess Diana's death is that it was not an accident, but rather an act of foul play, orchestrated by powerful figures within the British royal family or other influential entities. This theory has persisted over the years, fueled by a combination of Diana's high-profile status, her strained relationships with members of the royal family, and the public's desire to find a darker reason for her death. Mohammed Al Fayed, the father of Dodi Fayed, has been one of the most vocal proponents of this theory. He has repeatedly suggested that Diana and Dodi were murdered because their relationship was seen as a threat to the royal family's image. Diana, a divorced woman and a member of the royal family, was already controversial, and her relationship with Dodi, a Muslim and a divorcee, was seen as a significant scandal. Al Fayed believes the royal family or British intelligence orchestrated the crash, to prevent Diana from marrying Dodi, potentially sparking a scandal that would harm the monarchy. While this theory has gained attention, there is no solid evidence to support it. Investigations, including the extensive inquest led by the British authorities, found no signs of any conspiracy. A note, allegedly written by Diana and given to her butler Paul Burrell, was published in Burrell's 2003 book, A Royal Duty. The note was from 1995 and had Diana saying, "My husband is planning an accident in my car, brake failure and serious head injury," among other things. The authenticity of the note has never been proven, but it hasn't been completely debunked either. The note was reportedly written during a tumultuous period in Diana's life, when her marriage to Charles had broken down and she was feeling isolated and paranoid. Diana had publicly acknowledged her fears of being undermined by the royal family, which may explain the tone of the note. Neither French nor British investigations into Diana's death found evidence to corroborate the claims made in the note that Burrell received from Diana. The Fiat Uno theory. One of the most persistent mysteries surrounding Princess Diana's tragic death is the involvement of a mysterious white Fiat Uno. Witnesses reported seeing the small vehicle in the Pont de l'Alma tunnel at the time of the crash, and forensic analysis found paint marks from a Fiat Uno on Diana's Mercedes. Despite extensive investigations, the car and its driver were never conclusively identified, fueling speculation about its role in the accident. Some theorists suggest the Fiat Uno may have deliberately caused the Mercedes to swerve, while others believe it was an innocent passerby caught in the wrong place at the wrong time. The absence of definitive answers about the car's involvement continues to spark debate, adding another layer of intrigue to the tragedy of Diana's death. While white paint traces consistent with a Fiat Uno were found on Diana's Mercedes, this does not conclusively prove the Fiat caused the crash. The contact could have been incidental, or the paint could have been transferred during an unrelated incident before the crash. The missing CCTV footage theory. A puzzling aspect of Princess Diana's fatal crash is the lack of CCTV footage from the Pont de l'Alma tunnel. Critics argue that such a high-profile location in Paris should have been covered by surveillance cameras, particularly on the approach roads and within the tunnel itself. Conspiracy theorists suggest that this absence of footage might indicate a deliberate cover-up, possibly to hide evidence of foul play. They question why no recordings from the Ritz Hotel cameras, nearby intersections, or the tunnel itself have ever been released, fueling speculation that crucial evidence may have been erased or suppressed. While Paris had an extensive network of traffic cameras, their primary purpose was monitoring congestion, not recording footage for extended periods or in real time. At the time of the crash in 1997, the Pont de l'Alma tunnel was not equipped with CCTV cameras inside. French authorities confirmed this during the investigation. The absence of CCTV footage from the Pont de l'Alma tunnel is not indicative of a cover-up, but rather a reflection of the limitations of surveillance technology and infrastructure at the time. While the missing footage has fueled conspiracy theories, comprehensive investigations have not found any evidence to suggest foul play or intentional suppression of recordings. The lack of CCTV remains an unfortunate gap in the record, but does not undermine the conclusion that we'll later land on. The role of the paparazzi. The role of the paparazzi in Princess Diana's death is a theory that is strongly supported by evidence. Diana's relationship with the press was fraught with tension, and her every move was followed by photographers eager to capture intimate and sometimes scandalous shots of her. On the night of the crash, Diana and Dodi were being pursued by a swarm of paparazzi on motorcycles who were chasing them as they tried to flee the Ritz Hotel. The intense pursuit put both Diana and Dodi under immense stress and created a dangerous situation. The French judicial investigation, supported by the findings of Operation Paget in the UK, concluded that the paparazzi's actions were a contributing factor to the crash. Henri Paul, the driver of the vehicle, was reportedly trying to escape the photographers when he lost control of the car. Additionally, a British inquest found that Paul was driving at excessive speeds, approximately 65 miles per hour, in a section of road with a speed limit of 31 miles per hour. The crash occurred in the Pont de l'Alma tunnel, a location that had previously been the site of accidents caused by high speeds and poor visibility. Henri Paul's impairment. Another theory that is supported by substantial evidence is that the accident was primarily caused by Henri Paul's impaired driving. Toxicology reports from the night of the crash revealed that Henri Paul, the driver of the car, was significantly intoxicated. His blood alcohol level was found to be 3 times the legal limit for driving in France, and the reports also indicated that he had taken prescription drugs, which further impaired his ability to drive. Paul's impaired state likely led to a loss of control over the vehicle, especially given the high speed at which he was driving to escape the paparazzi. While conspiracy theories continue to circulate, the most likely explanation, supported by extensive investigations, is that her death resulted from a combination of factors, leading to a fatal car accident. On the evening of August 30th, 1997, Diana and her companion Dodi Fayed left the Hotel Ritz, Paris, where they had been staying. The couple, keen to avoid the attention of the ever-present paparazzi, took a back exit from the hotel. Henri Paul, the Ritz's deputy head of security, was behind the wheel of their Mercedes S280. The paparazzi who had been tailing Diana and Dodi continued their pursuit in a frenzy, chasing the couple's car through the streets of Paris. As they entered the tunnel at approximately 12:23 a.m., the car lost control. Henri Paul, who was later found to have been intoxicated, was driving at an extremely high speed in an attempt to evade the paparazzi. The car swerved, possibly hitting a white Fiat Uno, and then slamming into a concrete pillar. The impact of the collision caused significant damage, particularly to the front of the vehicle, and led to a chain of events that resulted in a tragic and fatal outcome. The car spun around before coming to a stop, leaving Diana and Dodi severely injured. Although they were quickly attended to by medical professionals, the severity of their injuries proved fatal. Dodi Fayed and Henri Paul died at the scene, but Diana, though conscious initially, succumbed to her injuries a few hours later in the hospital. The British inquest into Diana's death, Operation Paget, reinforced the findings of the French investigation, concluding that Diana's death was caused by a combination of driver error, impaired judgment, and the aggressive pursuit by the paparazzi. The inquest also found that Princess Diana was not wearing a seatbelt at the time of the crash, a detail that likely contributed significantly to the severity of her injuries. Safety experts have stated that wearing a seatbelt could have greatly increased her chances of survival, as the passenger compartment of the Mercedes remained largely intact. The absence of a seatbelt meant she was thrown violently within the car, causing catastrophic internal injuries. This fact has led to widespread speculation about why she wasn't restrained, with some suggesting it was an oversight in the chaos of the high-speed pursuit. The only person that wore a seatbelt during the incident, Trevor Rees-Jones, survived the crash. Despite various conspiracy theories suggesting foul play, including claims that the royal family or intelligence agencies orchestrated the crash, the evidence overwhelmingly supports the conclusion that Diana's death was a tragic accident. The French and British investigations found no credible evidence to suggest that foul play was involved. While Diana's untimely death sparked numerous questions and much speculation, the evidence points firmly to a preventable tragedy that was caused by human error and external pressures beyond her control. Following Princess Diana's tragic death, 7 paparazzi who had pursued her car were detained and faced charges of involuntary manslaughter and failing to assist persons in danger. The French authorities argued that their reckless pursuit contributed to the crash and that their actions at the scene, continuing to take photographs instead of offering assistance, violated basic humanitarian principles. However, these charges were later dropped due to insufficient evidence linking their actions directly to the cause of the crash. The paparazzi did face public condemnation and were fined for privacy violations related to the intrusive photos taken at the crash site, as these images breached French laws on victim dignity. While they avoided criminal convictions, the incident led to global scrutiny of paparazzi practices, sparking calls for stricter regulations on media behavior and privacy rights for public figures. In the years following her death, the legacy of Princess Diana has lived on through her charitable work, her 2 sons, and the countless lives she touched with her compassion and commitment to humanitarian causes. Although the circumstances of her death were tragic, her memory continues to influence the royal family and the world, reminding us of the human cost of fame, the dangers of unchecked media intrusion, and the need for compassion in the face of public scrutiny.